You see what's happening in Los Angeles, right? Spreading to other cities. If it seems like it's a different world to you, good. That means you're a reasonable person who sees through these agendas. However, if when you look at it, you immediately see your side against the other, that's the problem. Fringe agendas dominating the dialogue, and now the streets. Let's just call this situation what it is, okay? Nothing good is happening here. There is no high ground. Nothing's going to make anything better. You want to protest ICE? Fine. There are reasons. These riots are intended to stop ICE from conducting immigration raids. But that's not all there is. Mass looting, cop cars and self-driving vehicles set on fire, rioters throwing rocks, shooting fireworks at police. Dozens have been arrested for attempted murder, arson, looting, multiple officers injured. That's not protest, okay? And where are the local leaders? They're complaining about the National Guard showing up, but you think you're in control? When your ICE protest is headed up in instances by Hamas-friendly banners and foreign flags insisting people who aren't here legally shouldn't be removed, and making that point violently, what did you think was going to happen? Even the local police chief says officers are overwhelmed. That is on the mayor and the governor, who apparently would rather bitch about Trump than control their city and condemn the people who are destroying it. Now, I know partisans on the left aren't going to like that, but that's the truth. And the shame is that there is overreach by ICE and the administration. There is reason to protest policies that seem to demonize immigrants, despite them being the lifeblood of communities all over this country, whether they're here legally or not. They're not just going after bad hombres, okay? ICE, and I don't blame the agents per se. The agency is being pushed to get as many as they can, wherever they can, however they can. They are scaring people who are here legally and sending a message that seems to be more about how people entered than what impact they're making here. And that's not what America is about. But again, the people on the streets are doing more than making the point I just made. And when you break the law and act with violence, you become what you oppose, and that's what's happening in Los Angeles. This is fringe politics being played out in real time. Why else would the far right be spreading fake video? Actor James Woods, Senator Ted Cruz, clip viewed over 10 million times. It's from 2020. It's from the BLM riots. It's not from over the weekend. Why isn't the truth enough? Because they're not playing about advancement of the whole. This is just about advantage of one petty side against the other. That's all it is. Now, the administration could have said what I just said, right? But instead, they see an opportunity in this, apparently, to show they're tough against the fringe left. I get it. But the latest move, federalizing the National Guard, maybe deploying Marines, be careful. As someone who has stood in many situations like this move could calm it down or could blow it wide open. Now, my question is, what is this calculated to do? Is it calculated to calm it down or to foment tension? Now, before you say, oh, come on, it's just about safety. They spit, we hit. That's intended to make what better, exactly? The president calling these people insurrectionists. The irony. It was absurd when the left called rioters on January 6th insurrectionists. It wasn't an insurrection. It was a riot. And it is absurd now. Do you see how the fringe works both ways? How it is all about motivating the agendas of the few instead of the interests of the many. This is a moment to be clear about where you stand. And I stand with the many who are being co-opted by the few. And that's what we're watching in real time. This is protesting and rioting. And I say both because there is both. This is part of the fringe code. If you call them protests, you're a lefty. Riots, you're a righty. And it's stupid. Once you decide to hurt someone or something, you are no longer a protester. Governor Newsom is suing Trump for federalizing the National Guard. It would be better if he had just controlled the situation himself. He may have even been better served calling for the National Guard himself so he could direct them instead of having the federal government do it. What's the law? Cloudy. A president can use the military domestically, but in very few situations, especially when not asked to by the state. The president's not using the Insurrection Act, even though he calls these people insurrectionists, which is silly. George H.W. Bush did that during the '92 LA riots. But remember, Governor Wilson at the time was a friendly, and he was okay with it. This is not about law and order. It's about advantage of one side against the other, and we all lose. Now, there is a real issue at the center of it, right? Immigration and how we handled it. It was huge in the election. It was a huge boost to the candidacy of Donald Trump. And it is a situation where the two parties are way too far apart. And I think, again, that is because of fringe agendas dominating the dialogue. So let's try to do better. Let's see if we can be reasonable and bring. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.